The Indiana Fever, Kelsey, Money Mitch, put them in a ditch. Lexie Hold taking over. Arie McDonald and her farm giving me assists, giving me steals. 5 assists for Arie McDonald. Oh yeah, we're ready. We are ready. The Indiana Fever beat the Washington Mystics in the first game of the Commissioner's Cup, 85-76.
After harassing Sophie Cunningham during the preseason, the Washington Mystics believed they had defeated the Indiana Fever. They likely assumed the Fever were over after their humiliating victory on May 28th, when Caitlin Clark was hurt and everyone fled Indiana.
For both of you, just getting your first win after a 3-game losing streak, how did it feel?
I mean, I'm just proud of our group for staying with it. Obviously, we can't control injuries, we can't control any of that, but I think we had 2 really good practices this week, and to be able to come out and get a win after that, I'm just proud of us for fighting, and also just really proud of Arie for coming out and providing just some incredible minutes, 27 minutes, and she was ready. She stayed ready, and we needed every single one of those, and just really proud of the group today.
But here's what the Mystics didn't anticipate. Sometimes when you beat a team, they get backups who are stronger than before. On June 3rd, with their backs to the wall and their star out, the Fever played the most thrilling game of retaliation you've ever seen. Show your support for the team by leaving a comment that read, "I've got the Fever below, let's go."
Fever dog, you know what's coming. Bow, bow, bow! On to the next. Woo! Feels good, baby. Woo! Making a whip, baby. That's a good-looking dog. Woo! Happy days.
What actually transpired during the previous meeting between these two teams that made this retaliation so sweet was that the Washington Mystics defeated the Fever 83-77 when they entered CFG Bank Arena. But it wasn't only the victory that hurt, it was also the way they accomplished it. With a haughty demeanor that shouted, "We own you," the Mystics treated Indiana like a rookie team that had no business playing on the same court as them.
Indiana Fever lose to a young Washington Mystics team, 83-77. Look lost without Caitlin Clark.
I'll say it. Fire Stephanie White. Oh boy.
The hostility began long before that game, but keep in mind how the Mystics treated Sophie Cunningham during the preseason. They pushed her around and pretended that she was nothing more than a punching bag for their amusement, and that behavior set the tone for everything that came after.
And that's Kiki Arafin, and I gotta tell you, here we go with the smiling like you've done. I don't get it. This is the worst part of the WNBA. It is.
Then came the injury that changed everything. On May 26th, against the New York Liberty, Caitlin Clark suffered a left quad strain. The basketball community wrote the Fever's obituary right away, saying that they were done without their superstar for at least 2 weeks, if not longer. This is where things get really nasty for Indiana after Clark's injury, because they couldn't buy a win. First, the Liberty defeated them, then the Mystics embarrassed them on May 28th, and finally, on May 31st, the Connecticut Sun piled on 3 straight losses, 3 games, and everyone agreed that the Fever are nothing without Caitlin Clark.
This was a absolute embarrassment. An embarrassing performance from the Indiana Fever.
The Mystics most likely checked their schedule and noticed that June 3rd was marked as another simple victory. Why wouldn't they? Every time the squad on the floor, Indiana appeared disoriented, confused, and totally outmatched, but that's precisely what made this scenario ideal for retaliation. Their finest player was sitting on the bench in street clothes. The Fever spent those dark days following the losing streak doing something the Mystics never expected. They weren't breaking down. They were creating something that would make Washington regret every single moment of disrespect they had shown. With Caitlin Clark sidelined, the Mystics expected another punching bag. They expected the same broken team they had defeated just days earlier. The response came from someone who had been Clark's backcourt partner for the past year, Kelly Mitchell. As their star player is sidelined, The franchise's heart and soul of over 10 years suddenly found herself bearing the dreams of a whole organization on her shoulders. The early moments of the game told the story that the Fever needed someone to step up and take charge. Mitchell looked around the court and realized it had to be her. She had been playing professional basketball for years, but this felt different. She had been there when the Mystics embarrassed them just days earlier, watching Washington treat her team like they didn't belong. The pressure was immense, and everyone expected the Fever to fold without their superstar. The Mystics had built their defense to stop her because they knew she would be the main scoring threat without Clark, so Mitchell needed to figure out a way to get past their plans. This is where Mitchell's mindset became crucial. Instead of focusing on individual stats or personal glory, she was thinking about exacting revenge on the team that had disrespected her teammates.
Fever had the first 4. Washington has rattled off 8 in a row. Indiana's missed 5 straight shots. Mitchell catch and shoot and ends it with a 3.
Great screen on the baseline by Bonner. She's point guard of the future for them.
Mitchell turns the corner, gets inside and lays it in.
Look at Mitchell. I'm telling you, Pat, what am I going to say about Mitchell?
When Washington double-teamed her, she remained composed and made the right play, making her three-point shooting deadly as she made shot after shot from beyond the arc while the Mystics scrambled to modify their defense. She began attacking the basket early, moving the ball around and finding open teammates.
Comes into play, and Indiana's done a nice job feeding the post.
Mitchell off the screen, finds some space. Oh, it's a much-needed 3. McDonald trying to use that Boston screen. McDonald inside, Mitchell hangs, plays it in, and a foul! Kelsey Mitchell trying to put the finishing touches on this one.
The veteran guard made 4 of 7 three-pointers and 7 of 14 field goals, but Washington's attempt to rally in the fourth quarter was when the real magic happened. When the game was on the line, Mitchell clinched the deal by making a vital three-point play that increased the Fever's lead. She demonstrated that the Fever had multiple dangerous scorers. The Mystics were unable to stop her. She was later commended by her teammate Ari McDonald, who said, "She did everything amazingly and with such grace." The veteran had demonstrated exactly what it meant to be a leader under duress.
Kelsey Mitchell breaking out of her slump a little bit, making some big plays down the stretch. Also something that Kelsey Mitchell did late in that game, she got hit by McDonald with a pass. She moved without the ball. And Kelsey's the kind of player you can give her the ball and let her cook, clear out, but also it's going to make her tough to guard when she is able to be active without the ball in her hands. So that was a good sign, I think, for the Fever's offense and some of that motion offense that Stephanie White is trying to instill.
However, Mitchell's performance was even more noteworthy because she not only scored points, but also gave everyone else chances. Coach Stephanie White noted that the squad had 21 assists on 30 made field goals. While Kelsey Mitchell made headlines, 2 other Fever players stunned Washington with a knockout punch that left Lexie Hull and Ari McDonald stunned. Mitchell's willingness to share the ball and trust her teammates opened up the entire offense and made the Fever a team that could defeat anyone. Sometimes the best retaliation comes from the players nobody saw coming.
Kelsey Money Mitch, oh yeah. Take us home, Kels. Take us home. 24 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds. It feels good to be coming here to you after this game.
Let's start by discussing Hall. Although Lexie brought her typical hustle, she was utterly inconspicuous from an offensive standpoint in the first half, scoring 0 points. The Mystics likely believed they had her figured out because she sat on the bench at halftime, knowing her team needed more from her. But Hall remained prepared and continued to work, waiting for her opportunity to score.
Lexie Hull, who continues to shine. I mean, Lexie Hull has just been terrific this season. She is shooting the ball at an unbelievable clip. Talk about drawing fouls, talk about energy, talk about plus minus not being a deceiving stat. That is the case with Lexie Hull, who's plus 19 in this game, and it feels completely accurate, right? I mean, she's shooting 57% from 3 on the season going in, 52% from the field. I believe that's going in as well, but regardless, you get the point. Shooting the ball well.
However, that's when the magic happened. Hull came out firing in the second half, making 5 of 6 shots from the field. In the third quarter alone, she scored all 14 of her points, pulled down 6 rebounds, and dishing out 4 assists. Hull became the player the Fever sorely needed. This is where things get strange, though, because days before this game, the Fever signed her to an emergency hardship contract. Imagine the strain that caused Clark to get hurt, Sophie Cunningham to get hurt, and Sydney Colson to get hurt. McDonald had to take a plane to Indianapolis to watch film and study the plays with the coaching staff before being thrown into the season's biggest revenge game.
Lexie Hull, 14 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Lexie Hull, taking it off the dribble, taking it off the dribble, reverse layup. Lexie Hull, what got into you today, Lexie? What got into you in that third quarter? Holy smokes. Lexie Hull. Folk, dude, Lexie Hull taking Sonia Citrone off the dribble. Yeah, she's like that. Lexie Hull, reverse layup. Okay, Lexie, go on with your bad self. Go on with your bad self.
There was a huge risk. When trying to stop the same Mystics team that just embarrassed Indiana, McDonald was equally impressive. She played 27 minutes, scored 7 points, and drew 3 offensive fouls in her first 8 minutes. The best part was that she became a dog on defense and interfered with everything Washington attempted to do. You don't put a rookie player in a high-stakes game like this. She had previously played for Atlanta and Los Angeles, but she had never worn a Fever uniform.
Dealing with a bit of a personnel problem when Clark goes down and then Colson goes down. And then obviously Cunningham goes down to the point where even without Clark, they didn't really have much of a capable backup, and then the backup goes down. By the way, shout out to Sydney Colson, who actually played well in this game, really banged up, taking it on the chin for the Fever. That's another thing that McDonald did well also, is put her body on the line. You know, she doesn't have a guaranteed spot, so you got to give her respect for that.
Hall stated during the match, "We needed her out there. She was huge on defense, huge, drawing offensive fouls. I'm just so proud of her, and I'm happy she's here." McDonald was dubbed the Ultimate Pro by Mitchell for picking up the plays so fast and helping out on both ends. What if losing Caitlin Clark for the short term was actually the best thing that could happen to this team this year? This victory against Washington revealed something much bigger than just revenge. The Fever learned they could trust each other without depending on one superstar to carry them. The Mystics had no answer for either player. They expected the same dysfunctional team from May 28th, but instead they got Hall scoring at will and McDonald causing chaos on defense. Coach Stephanie White called McDonald's performance exactly what we needed. Each participant on the court discovered that they belonged during crucial situations.
Let's not leave out Ari McDonald. 2 for 7, 1 for 5 from 3. Maybe not shoot threes, but Ari McDonald, 5 assists, 0 turnovers. Welcome to Indiana, Ari. Welcome to 3 steals. One of them was a steal and score. Folks, you know what they say, first impressions mean everything. And Ari McDonald, first impression, I'm calling up Ronald right now. I'm calling up Ronald McDonald right now. I need a Mick steals meal. I need a Mick assist meal. I need a Mick hustle meal. Ari McDonald, it feels good having a point guard that can dribble and not turn it over and get flustered when they see pressure. It feels good. It feels good.
Coach Stephanie White found just what she was looking for. That's how we want to play. That's how we have to play in order for us to be successful, White said of the team's 21 assists on 30 field goals.